back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that brutal OST because we have returned with our next series with a bit of a cheeky ZvZ. And here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn. We have our red Zerg player representing his new team, the Platinum Heroes. It is YoungYakov. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player, the German Zerg, representing Shopify Rebellion, one of the favorites for this entire tournament. It is Lambo. Now, what I will say about this matchup here, if you were here earlier today, a couple of hours ago for ESL Open Cup Asia, it's a similar story, where we had Nightmare coming in as a PvP sniper. As a result, he was able to bring down Classic, able to bring down Creator, and win the entire event. Here in the ZvZ, even though I would say that Lambo, he is favored to go far, and he is a more well-rounded player. Specifically in this mirror matchup, YoungYakov can cause upsets. He can bring down some big Zerg players. He has done so in the past. He can do it again. So this is not going to be an easy one for Lambo. Not at all. Not whatsoever, as we do have YoungYakov going for a slightly different opener here. Of course, spawning pool is about to finish up. Much faster pool from YoungYakov. As a result, Lings are on the way. It was a pool first from our red Zerg player. 6 Lings are in production. The goal here is to kill some workers. It's to kill and snipe 1 or 2 drones to disrupt the economy and to get ahead in that way. Here we go. It's going to be on Lambo, of course, to try to minimize his losses and try to maintain his worker lead, as Lambo is ahead in drones. He's ahead 4 workers. Lings are moving out. Lambo does get eyes on them. He's aware. 4 Lings are on the way. Queens are amassing. And Lambo typically should be evacuating his natural. Still has 2 drones here on the low ground. Still has them on the low ground as YoungYakov, he is working his way towards. There we go. We do evacuate just in time. Good movement there from Lambo. Lings have arrived. And Lambo is going to be able to pull back. Going to be able to preserve his drones ideally. It doesn't lose anything. Doesn't lose any drones. Doesn't lose any Lings either. Doesn't get surrounded. And he will force back. So far, a solid defense out of Lambo. He was forced to lose mining time, and YoungYakov is catching up drone-wise as a result. Likewise, Ling speed is on the way. Lambo skipping Ling speed entirely. Oh my, he's crazy. Lambo skipping Ling speed entirely, going 2-base Roach. Or even 2-base Muta. Lair is on the way. Gases are being taken. 2-base play out of Lambo. Bold move here, and he is walling off. Now, again, with this fast Lair, we can rush into a Spire, or we can go into Roach play. Meanwhile, across the map, YoungYakov is taking his 3rd. He will have a better economy as a result if he does drone. Does have a Bailey Nest on the way. The Bailey Nest, unfortunately, is useless in this situation, as there's nothing for the Bailey to do. There isn't really going to be any Ling Bane aggression from Lambo. And YoungYakov, he's amassing Lings. He's going for a bust. YoungYakov, he's going for a bust here. We have our roles. Lambo is going to be the defender. YoungYakov is going to be the aggressor. And we are looking to move out across the map. We're droning though. Oh, this is brutal. You either commit or you don't. And we invested so heavily into these Lings. All these Lings could have been drones. They could have been drones, and they would have been more worthwhile for YoungYakov. Now he's droning after he realizes what's going on. And all these Lings, what can they really get done? What can they get done? The answer is nothing. They can threaten the wall. But Roaches are already amassing. Yeah, and these Lings, they just weren't really worthwhile here. We have 10 more Lings on the way for YoungYakov. And it is going to be 2-base Roach from Lambo. +1 range. Roach speed is on the way. Roach speed is seen, of course, by YoungYakov. He's aware of the lair. He's aware of the Roach commitment. I mean, it could be a fake out. It could be mutas. It is possible. But the Roaches have arrived. Yeah, and here comes a crease spread here. Lambo going for a big 2-base all-in. Cutting workers at 34. And YoungYakov, he's been droning this entire time. He does have his own Roach war, and Roach is just now on the way. We need Spine Crawlers, Roaches. We need anything and everything to defend. And again, YoungYakov is in a lot of trouble. Lambo is moving on out with a hammer of an army. He's looking to knock YoungYakov down in game 1. Look at the army sizes here. Looking at the supplies, at the units. 15 roaches for Lambo. And we're soon to have 8 for YoungYakov. Half the roach count. Now, he does have a lot of lings. That is true. A lot of lings are available, but we have queens, we have transfuse. We are reinforcing very quickly across the map with this creep highway. Do get a surround. We get a big surround here on these roaches. Is it going to be enough though? No. The answer is it is not enough. We break free from the surround. We clean up all the lings, and now it's just roach versus roach. Couple more lings coming in to reinforce. Lambo still has double the roach count of YoungYakov. As I say that though, the roach count is evening up. We are closing that gap. YoungYakov going for a lane counterattack. Dancing with the main army with his roaches. YoungYakov, he does hold. He does barely hold on. Very impressive. At the same time, we do see Lambo trying to take his third base, but YoungYakov, he is there to spot it. Lambo able to wall off just in time. YoungYakov forced to back off with his lings. Lair is on the way. We're slowly catching up here. Remember, Lambo is up in Lair Tech, up in roach speed. He has +1 range already. We can start a +2 range as well. What YoungYakov has is the better economy. As the game goes on longer, YoungYakov, he can amass a larger army. That is true. Meanwhile, Lambo still building up more roaches. He's getting ready for the second wave. Lambo is getting ready for wave number 2, for round 2. There are 31 roaches. Soon to be 36 roaches, and we're droning! Now is not the time to drone. YoungYakov, he needs an army. He has 1 spine crawler. He has 15 roaches. Less than half the roach count of Lambo. Yeah, spine crawler goes down instantly, and it looks like Lambo, he has too much. YoungYakov was too greedy. The boys are being pulled. But we're gonna, but again, we can kill all these boys, all these drones, and it doesn't even matter. Lambo, he snowballs out of control. GG gets called, and Lambo, he will take game number 1. GG. Again, YoungYakov just misreading the early game. If you remember, the moments when YoungYakov made a wave of lings, that was the moment when things were looking dire. In a mirror matchup, you cannot make mistakes like that. You cannot misread like that. That could cost you the game. That could even cost you the series. Here we go, as we're getting ready for game number 2. As a result, YoungYakov didn't have the economic lead that he should have had, as he was further behind in drones. He couldn't sustain as many roaches. He did survive the first push, but even after that, he just misread the situation. He droned up too much. He was just a little bit too greedy there. Meanwhile, Lambo just went for a second all-in and did catch YoungYakov out. And now here we go. We're getting into game number 2. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Hardlead, we have our red Zerg player. Currently down in this series, looking to fight back. It is the red Zerg representing the Platinum Heroes, YoungYakov. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Zerg player from the land of Germany, representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Lambo. Again, Lambo defending beautifully against the pool first and was able to respond very quickly with his 2-base all-in. And YoungYakov just took him a little bit too long to recognize what was happening, to keep up with Lambo. Was caught with his pants down twice, actually. Twice. The pants, they were down. Ay, ay, ay. We'll see if we can keep him up this time. As here in game 2, Hatch Gas Pool. Much more standard opener here out of YoungYakov. And Lambo as well. Hatch Gas Pools, no early shenanigans this time, no early aggression. And the question becomes, what will this lead into? Because Hardlead has a very short rush distance by ground. Doesn't take long at all to get across the map. So I do wonder, I am concerned. How will our players approach this? And will we go for another 2-base all-in from either one? I'm not opposed to it on hard left. Not opposed. Here we go. As for now, the game is going to be settling on in. Again, we're just going to be droning on up, working towards our third bases, and working towards Banelings as well. Ling Bane aggression can now be on the table here for both Lambo and YoungYakov. Unless Lambo decides to skip Ling Speed again. But this time we haven't. This time Ling Speed is being researched, so it is looking like a standard ZvZ. Much more standard here. And I'm sure YoungYakov is going to be feeling a lot more comfortable in this situation as well. Ooh, did I say standard ZvZ? Papi. That is going to be a fast Evo Chamber. Evo Chamber is on the way for fast +1. I imagine this is going to be +1 melee for a Ling Flood from YoungYakov. Let's go. Ling Flood is upon us. Meanwhile, we have that safety Baliness on the way here for Lambo. Again, third base into a Baliness. Standard build here out of Lambo. YoungYakov, he's the player deviating. Lambo trying to slip in with those Lings, but doesn't find a way in. Ooh, meanwhile, it's Carapace, not melee. Very interesting. Okay, Carapace usually leads into a Roche-based all-in, but we haven't taken additional gases. We are still mining gas, though. Bear that in mind. Yeah, and Lambo, he is going to slip in. He is going to get a full scout of the main base. Gets eyes on the Evo chamber. And I imagine he should be thinking it's melee. But the jig is up. There's that Roche Warren that we spoke about. So it is going to be a Ling Roche-based all-in. But that does mean that it's going to take a little bit longer to really get going. Meanwhile, Lambo amassing Ling Bane, going for his own counterattack, meeting aggression with aggression. Do get on top of some of those Lings. YoungYakov trying to catch reinforcements. Meanwhile, the Bailings are now done, and we're pushing in towards that natural. And there's no defensive Bailiness here for YoungYakov. He's in a lot of trouble. Baileys, they crash out in. They shut down the Lings. They push into the mineral line. Just focusing on zoning away those Lings and other connections. They're a little bit too good. The Lings of YoungYakov, they crumble. We get into the mineral line, and we do split the drones. Is it going to be good enough, though? Good split out of YoungYakov, but we don't waste the Bailings. We head towards the natural, and drones are still going down. The Lings are getting out of control. Roaches have arrived, but it may just be too little too late. As the Bailing does waddle back, GG gets called, and Lambo will take the series 2-0, taking down YoungYakov. GG. GG, well played. That's the downside of that build from YoungYakov. I mean, okay, so a couple of things. One, if we're rushing into +1 Carapace, usually we wall off. Usually we have the Evo chamber as a part of the wall at the natural, so we can avoid this scenario. This scenario is available because we're going for a Ling Roach all-in. No Bailings. We skip the Bailing nest, which means we have that much less to defend, that much less to deal with the aggression of our opponent. And Lambo, he recognized that, he takes advantage of that, and it will shut his opponent down. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Lambo as he does advance on into the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, we have our next opponent. Well, we have our next series. Here we go. Okay, so exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back of yourselves. We do have some updates to go over.